Taliban breaking promises including over women, says UN.
Here's a summary of the article.
Geneva, September 13. Afghanistan's Taliban rulers have contradicted public promises on rights including by ordering women to stay at home, blocking teenage girls from school and holding house-to-house searches for former foes, a United Nations official said on Monday. High Commissioner for Human Rights Michelle Bachelet said Afghanistan was in a new and perilous phase since the militant Islamist group seized power last month, with many women and members of ethnic and religious communities deeply worried. In contradiction to assurances that the Taliban would uphold women's rights, over the past 3 weeks, women have instead been progressively excluded from the public sphere, she told the Human Rights Council in Geneva. Bachelet expressed dismay at the composition of the Taliban government, noting the absence of women and its dominance by ethnic Pashtun. Reprisal killings reported. In some places, girls over 12 were barred from school while women were told to stay at home, she said, in throwbacks to the Taliban's oppressive rule between 1996 to 2001 prior to a US-led invasion that toppled them. Bachelet pointed to other broken pledges on granting amnesty to former civil servants and security officers linked to the previous government and prohibiting house-to-house searches. Bachelet called for a mechanism to monitor rights in Afghanistan.
This post received a score of 4,600, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
What's the UN gonna do? Invade them again?
No. Stop sending humanitarian aid.
China has entered the chat. Russia has entered the chat.
Taliban likes this. Yet, China don't like Taliban, or Muslims for that matter. Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off. China don't give a shit. There's money to be extracted in Afghanistan. The Uyghur issue is because the people are Turkic and refusing to integrate into Chinese society. And that rustles China's jimmies. China will just pile goodies in front of the Taliban and try to ensnare them into surrendering their mineral wealth.
Any person who believes anything that comes out of the mouths of the Taliban is worse than a fool.
Full of a took.
A hobbit listening and believing the Taliban wasn't something I thought I would ever imagine.
Surprised PikachuFace.jpg. Came here to say this.
Who would have thought?
Not me, that's for sure. Deadpan face.
The all-male government vowed to get along with everyone, except Israel, or women.
Or infidels. Or other Muslims that aren't Muslim enough.
You already said infidels.
What about apostates? Surely they're going to be cool with the apostates?
I swore that was the subcategory for insufficiently Muslim Muslims, but I might be getting mixed up. There's so many extremist groups, you know.
LMAO, no way. Didn't see this coming.
When you can't even trust the Taliban. Literally no one is surprised.
Why do people think these reports are intended to surprise anyone? They're confirming that indeed the situation is as bad as expected. That's important because otherwise you'll have people claiming it isn't that bad.
It's their mic drop one-liner meme they can post for Reddit, Twitter points because they have nothing better to share. Or some honestly think, as moronic as they are, that news should only ever be about new things that were never communicated otherwise. Sorry, I should have posted surprised PikachuFace.jpg instead. Her.
We all knew what gonna happen to the women rights under Taliban. Feel bad for all of the Afghani women.
Who would have guessed?
Wow, never saw that one coming.
Wow, who would have thought murderers would lie? In other news, the UN Assembly agrees by a supermajority vote to rename the equator as Earth's surprise face.
Shocking. Less than, sarcasm greater than. And people are surprised?
How about the UN does what it normally does and writes them a strongly worded letter? Useless organization sucking US dollars. The central problem here is Islamic theology and its concept of wali, male guardianship. That is why some Muslim countries are more liberal than others. But herein is the fundamental problem: as long as women's freedoms lie in the hands of men, they will never truly be free. Additionally, Al-Quran and Islam cannot be reformed because it is considered the direct word of God, hence change and reform is not really possible.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.